Tim Petrowich for Dateline Marion, and again we're here with Marion head football coach Kerry Martin as we head into week 4. And coach, I know this is not a place you wanted to be, but you knew it was a place that was possible, and it's been quite some time since the Wildcats were 0-3. That, I mean, take a look. You've had 3 pretty tough opponents to play.
We have. We came into the season. We knew the schedule was difficult. I mean, and that's okay. I mean, we feel like we've got to play better competition. We've got to play better out of conference games to get us ready to be a good playoff team. But I think with that change in schedule comes some growing pains, and those growing pains is adapting to that new level. And I think we came close to getting 2 of those 3, and we just sure we could get 1 of them at least, but hopefully get 2, maybe 3. And we came out on the short end of a couple of them and kind of got outmatched last week. So, we're in a different situation than we've been since I've been here, and we're going to find out what we're made of now. We've got to find a way to pick ourselves up and get better from those 3 games and start competing for the conference.
I want to, in a little bit, I want to get into the rest of the year and the fact that this team is that close to, we talked about 2 plays away from being 2-1 heading into week 4.
Yeah.
I want to get into that a little bit, but I want to talk about this last week's game.
Okay.
You knew coming in that Galesburg was going to be a really good team. They beat Dunlap 48-7 in week 1, a team that you lost to in overtime.
Yeah.
They were 3-0, or they're 3-0 now, and it's the first time since 1982 they've been 3-0. So they know they've got a special team, and that kind of adds to it. When you had your first couple of runs, there was a few magical things that went your way during that year. So this is one of those kind of years for Galesburg. So you knew you were up against it Saturday.
I look back at the seasons where we made long runs, from '96 and 2000 at Carterville to 06, 7 here, even 9, 10, getting into the second round, and almost. When you have those seasons, you go back and look at how many close games you came on the winning side of by a play or a touchdown or a point or whatever, and it is amazing how many things went your way, and Galesburg came into this season with almost everybody back. Looking at the film from last year and comparing to this year, we knew that they had almost everybody back. Those guys have made improvements. They've gotten bigger, they've gotten stronger, they've matured. You can see it in their decision making. And the thing about Galesburg was, on film, we couldn't really find a weakness. I don't think their team speed is great, but they have adapted their team to their size and to their strength, which is they're going to pound the ball at you and wear you down up front. Quarterback throws the ball well enough. They take some play action shots down the field, which they hit us on. They don't have a lot of people you can exploit or pick on or take advantage of. And so we knew it was going to take not only a really good performance by us, but they were going to have to make some mistakes. And lo and behold, their first 2 drives of the game, they turned the ball over. We got a chance to capitalize, and their defense came out and shut the door. They're a very good football team. They're a 6A football team that I think has the potential, if they stay healthy, to do some things in the playoffs. I mean, I was very impressed. They're well coached and very physical.
One of the things I noticed, like you said, they had so many people back. We knew that the running back, DeAndre Morin, was going to do some damage. He did some damage the last time he played. The quarterback, Jacob Ross, he could run the ball last year, and he hurt you a little bit running the ball, but he really had trouble throwing the ball. That wasn't the case this year, and that just makes them that much more dangerous.
It does. I mean, and that maturity factor makes a difference. It's in 2005, we went 5-4 in the regular season here, and only graduated a few players and had a lot coming back. And I remember just how much different our kids looked on film from their junior year to their senior year. It was dramatic watching Dustin Borum and Adam Byrne and a number of players, how much different they were. Jesse Kinchlow and Chad Francis, and their maturity from just that 1 year on film. You're watching last year's game, you're watching this year's game, you're going, wow, they're just bigger, stronger, faster. It's just it's a cool thing to watch as a coach, watch kids how quickly they mature. Then you add to that what I read in an article from Galesburg was how hard they had committed themselves to weight room because of how close they were last year, but fell a little short of their expectations. I think they were hungry in the offseason. I think it paid off for them. So Tim's got a really good team, and he's a good coach. And they're a tough matchup for us. They were really strong in areas where we're not real strong right now, and sometimes that spells trouble. But I'm proud of our kids. They fought. We were still in the game in the third quarter. We had opportunities. We missed a nice little pass down the sideline on a little throwback play. That would have put us within a score. We just have had trouble capitalizing on momentum all year long, so we've got to change that.
You talk about the fact you were in the game 22-7 at halftime. It was really kind of closer than that.
Yeah.
And then you had some issues with the injury to Adolph Paulson, some other internal situations where some kids didn't get to play in the second half. Those kind of things kind of added to what was going on, and even so, like you said, that nice play, and X doesn't play very much offense, so, and he was right there. I mean, it was just right out of his reach.
I think the wind got a hold of him a little bit too. The wind was coming out.
That makes it 28-21 or 28-22 depending on the conversion, and again, things are right there.
Yeah.
So this team is just that close to being that good.
Yeah, and it is, and it's when Adolph went down, suddenly we've lost both of our what we call dogs, our outside linebackers, and that's Hunter Milligan week 1 and Adolph in that ball game. And so then you're shifting new people to those positions. So now everybody's out of position, playing hard, but just not fully aware of every adjustment they should make, every read they should have, every formation adjustment. And so it's a domino effect. You plug one hole and something else is over here you got to plug, and it just it's just one of those years where we've seemed so close. We just that was a better football team than what we have. But that I told the kids afterwards, they're better than us. But that doesn't mean we couldn't have played better. We could have played better than we played, and we're a little short on dudes. And I'll tell you what, in the second half, we put some young guys on the field that physically didn't match up with Galesburg, but I was proud of how hard they played. They gave it everything they had. So
one of the other things we talked about after the game, and we've mentioned before, without getting into a whole lot of detail, some of the struggles that Xavier Cambrick has gone through the last couple of years, and this past week on the defensive side of the ball, I thought he had a statement game the way he played, and you talked right after the game about the fact that he's one of those guys that was kind of out of position. He really made some hits, and he laid some people out in that game.
He did, and we gave him player of the game for that. We have a player of the game sponsored by a local group, and I thought he played, regardless of the score, regardless of anything else, he gave us 4 quarters, he gave us everything he had, and I was proud of him. I thought it was his best varsity performance. And the real test of a kid's maturity and a real test of a kid's character is not how he plays when you're up 35-14. It's how he plays when you're down 35-14. And I thought that was a real tribute to the fact that he was out there giving everything he had, and the prospects of winning didn't look very good. But you couldn't tell by the way he played.
And even on that pass that he was the intended receiver, it was out of his reach. And I think he was more upset that he didn't get it than, you said the wind got a hold of it and some things happened.
Yeah.
He was kind of taking the blame for that, and really it wasn't his fault.
No, it wasn't. And I got to say this, our defense, has played so much better than the points allowed, because some of those points have been special team points. Some of those points have come off the fact that we didn't help our defense out in the first half last week, and they gave us opportunities early, and we didn't capitalize on them. And I'm real proud of the fact our defense is not real deep in numbers, but they have played really hard. Coach Dunning is in a new scheme, and I think they've really bought into it. If we can ever get all of our personnel healthy and on the field, I think they can do some really good things. And our tackles for loss, I think, are up compared to a year ago. We're making plays behind the line of scrimmage, but we wear down and we get a little tired in the second half, and that's where I think you're starting to see teams, establish something. So offensively, if we could get some points on the board and make them throw the ball to catch up, I think our defense would stay
and keep your defense off the field.
Keep them off the field, and we're not sustaining drives, Tim. We're not sustaining drives and using clock. we're scoring points. We're scoring points on big plays, which we'll take it. But then your defense is right back out on the field. So we need to work on trust me, we are, that consistency to be able to sustain drives and get blocks and move the chains and get our defense to rest because they need it. And we haven't done much to help them out.
A couple other things I wanted to point out. You got a couple of plays, big plays in this last game that you hadn't had, the type of play. I mean, you had some big passing plays, you had some kick returns, but I think this week may have been the game where Caden Hilliard finally got the hang of seeing the hole quickly and hitting it because, you know, it's not that he's not running hard and he's not trying to do things, but sometimes there's a hole and he doesn't get to it quick enough because he hesitates for a second and it closes up. And he did that, I thought, more in this game, and especially on the long run, which he went through a hole to get to that spot.
He did, and you know, it's again, he's a junior. It's his first starting year, and he's got loads of talent, and he works really hard, and we've been waiting for him to have that moment, that burst, that long run. I knew it was going to happen, and I was glad to see that happen for him because he deserves that. He's a hard-working kid, and then Jake's nice long run was another one where Jake has been so close to popping through and then finally showed he's got some speed. So we've got some guys that can score. We've got some receivers that can score. We've got an offensive line that I think continues to battle some defensive dudes up front that are really good right now. And we're hoping that we're getting better. We're going to find out on Friday if those first 3 games have put us in a hole we're going to have trouble digging out of, or did those first 3 games prepare us for the last 6 games of the season?
That brings me to my next question is you look at the rest of the schedule, 6 games left on the schedule, there's probably one game that stands out as being a very difficult game, and that's the game against Althoff in 3 weeks. But the next 2, and then after that, are games that this club is good enough to win, as long as they have not got it in their head that they're going to come up short, that mental thing. And it starts with Cahokia Friday night. Always athletic, always quick, but sometimes prone to mistakes and sometimes vulnerable to a solid game plan. And that's what you have to bring Friday night.
Yeah, the Cahokia is a great challenge for us, speed-wise. Quarterback's got a great arm. He's a scrambler. Running back is quick. It'll be a real challenge to our defense, being disciplined, you know, making sure they've got their assignments. But you're right. I mean, of the last part of our schedule, the last 2/3 of our schedule, there's a lot of winnable games on there if we play at the level we're capable of playing at. Or we can lose all those games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the kind of schedule that gives you hope, but also the reminder to our kids: you can't quit, you can't take a step back. You can't. We've got to continue getting better, not stay the same. Continue getting better. Accept the challenge for what it is. Let's hope those 3 games made us a better football team, and we're trying to build on that. The kids came to practice after the Galesburg game, the first day of the week, and had a great day. So let's hope we can continue to have a great week of practice and get out there and get a win.
Other than the obvious, what do we know about Cahokia? Because it's a new head coach, a lot of new players. They graduated, several other skilled players, but they've got a few kids back. But again, they're always athletic and quick.
Well, you know, they're the state track champions every year, and for a reason. And a lot of those kids play football, and even the ones that don't run track are pretty fast and very athletic and very strong kids. And I don't know the new coach very well, but obviously they're doing some things right. They're off to a 2-1 start. The only loss to a powerhouse up north named Geneseo. So they'll be a tough opponent. And it's not like we played 3 tough ones and now it's going to get easier. I mean, Cahokia is going to bring a real challenge to our home field, and I'm glad we got them here. And it's our goal to get on a winning streak right here at home.
You've had some kids banged up. We talked a little bit about Adolph. We talked about Hunter. Malcolm Berry went down a couple of weeks ago. Of course, we know Clarida's probably done for the year, but what about those other guys? What's the status for them?
It looks like Adolph will be able to play Friday, we think. We're optimistic. We don't know about Hunter Milligan. He may be another week or 2 out. It's kind of a day-by-day thing, but he feels better, so I think he could be back this week, maybe next week. It's kind of a week-by-week thing. Malcolm Berry's probably another week out. So, you know, we're still going to have to rely on some younger guys to step up, and some other guys to change some roles, but it's easier when you got a week of preparation to do that than when you have to do it on the sidelines during the game. And hopefully we'll be have enough strength on Friday night to put together a great win and get this thing rolling in the right direction.
And to my knowledge, this will be the only home game all season where there's not something special or significant attached to it.
I think you're right.
Regular football Friday.
Yeah, no, we have a pink out coming up in 2 weeks. We've got Patriot game. We got homecoming coming up. So we theme almost every home game now, which is awesome. It's a chance to honor and show respect for various groups. I think you're right. This is the only normal Friday night we've got all year. So let's make it a good one.
So it's Cahokia Friday night. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Conference opener. And like we said after the game, all you got to do is win your 5 conference games and you're in the playoffs. You don't have to worry about it, right?
Nothing to it. Yeah.
Coach Kerry Martin's our guest for Dateline Marion. I'm Tim Petrowich.